Hello, welcome to my second, well, this is actually my third recorded playthrough of Twilight Struggle. I did do a playthrough with America that ended up ending in a tie game at the end after 10 rounds, but it turned out much longer than expected, and it is not an elegant beast to chop into parts. So, for this one, I'll be playing as America, and I'm going to limit each video to a section of war. So this video will be early war, then we'll have a mid-war, possibly a late war video. So the problem with Twilight Struggle is you're not ever really sure how long it's going to go on for. So we will create a game, and as promised, I will be America. Now, in the previous video where I was the Soviets, I explained most of the rules and the setup of the game. So I'm not going to go into too much detail with that. I'm just going to narrate what I'm doing as I do it. Try to give an idea of my thought process as I go through it. Oops, I do not want to put one in Turkey. Now keep in mind, I'm not like a world-class Twilight Struggle player. I'm okay. So there might be times, if you're familiar with the game, where you're going to be like, why didn't you do this? Feel free to talk about it in the comments, which I moderate heavily, so keep that in mind. Okay, so looking at what we have here, we have a lot of Soviet cards. We do not have any scoring cards. Remember, in early war, the first 3 turns, there's Europe, Middle East, and Asia scoring. We have a lot of Soviet cards. We don't have any 4-value cards, which is pretty rubbish. So, we might just headline Defectors, which cancels the Soviets' headline card. Part of the reason I don't want to do that, though, is it's one of the only cards that is friendly to the Americans. So we have Romanian Abdication, which removes all my influence in Romania, so I will not be putting any influence in Romania. And then the Soviets will gain sufficient influence for control. We have Comecon, which adds 1 Soviet influence in each of 4 non-US controlled countries in Eastern Europe. Nasser, which gives Soviets influence in Egypt. The Vietnam Revolts, which gives them influence in Vietnam. This is real great for them. The only thing I can hope in this situation, since I have so many Soviet cards, is that they have a handful of American cards. Alright, decolonization lets them add 1 influence in each of any 4 African and or Southeast Asian countries. And then there's my containment, which gives me +1 to all my operations cards. And that might not actually be the worst idea, because I could then, you know what, I'm going to headline containment. It's weird, because I very rarely use this card for the event, but I think in this situation, making this so that all of these cards are worth 1 more, excuse me, playing it at the beginning is the headline. It's going to give me 6 extra operation points that I'll be able to use over the course of the game. Well, of this turn. So, yeah. Alright, but before we headline that, we have to place our influence in Western Europe. I usually play as the Soviets, so this is a little bit off-putting. We'll put 4 in West Germany. We'll put the other 3 in Italy. Making it so that it's harder to coup, because the Soviets will start at DEFCON 5 when they start their first action round down here. So I don't want them to be able to coup Italy away from me, and I don't want to go to France because of the de Gaulle card. So, headlining containment. Let's see. What are they going to do? The Suez Crisis. Oh dear. Daggum. Ugh. So the Suez Crisis allows them to remove 4 influence from France, the United Kingdom, and Israel. The problem is they can only remove up to 2 per country, which means they're going to take 2 from the UK and 1 from Israel. Now that's problematic because Israel and Iran are the only countries that I have a foothold in the Middle East. The Soviets have these 2 countries, but they could also ostensibly come in through Afghanistan because it's considered adjacent to the Soviets. Well, luckily, they're going to use this for influence. Nah. I was worried they were going to try to coup Iran, because that would have kicked me out of the Middle East completely, which is not a thing that I want to happen. So, what I'm going to do is use Comic-Con. We'll go ahead and resolve the event. So they'll be able to put 1 influence each in 4 different Eastern European countries, which I don't control, which is all of the Eastern European countries. And then I'll have 4 action points. 4 operations points, which I will use. I kind of want to coup Iraq. I don't want them to be able to coup me out, is the problem. It is a problem. Alright, we're going to just place influence. We're going to take Iran, South Korea, put 1 in Pakistan so it's harder for them to take it. Now, if they have the Indo-Pakistani War, they can use it in Pakistan to replace my influence with theirs. But I have no idea what their cards are. Now, excuse me, playing as the Americans in early war, as I've said, there's a distinct advantage to the Soviets. Dang. So I don't want them to win. Basically, I'm not trying to win an early war. I'm trying to keep them from winning. This sort of thing isn't going to help. So they played a 3 operation point card. They rolled a 6, which means they had 9. Double the stability number. Add my influence, which is 6. So they get to place the difference of 3. I didn't want that to happen. Because now I'm not in the Middle East at all. But luckily, I hunkered down in Pakistan, which is good. Now, I don't have any real high cards, so I'm not too excited about that situation. Okay, we will use defectors for points. I don't trust, because right now they have 7 in Iran. If I played a 3 value card, I would need to roll a 4 or higher to get them out of Iran. A 4 to get them out, to clear their influence. A 5 or a 6 to be able to place my own. I don't trust that I'm going to be able to do that. That being said, I do need military ops. Iran is at 7 and Iraq is at 7. Alright. We will use defectors to coup. Which do I feel better about? We'll try Iran. So see, if I roll a 5, I get to put 1 of mine down. A 6, I get to put 2 of mine down. But a 4 would at least clear them off completely. So 50-50 chance that I'm going to be happy. And I am very happy. Fantastic. So 3 plus 6 is 9. They had 7, so I get to place 2. Wonderful. And that gives me military ops. which I desperately needed. Now they can still coup in the Middle East, so they could come back and try to re-coup Iran. I don't have that strong a foothold there, which is a little troublesome. So while they're deciding, oh, I don't like it. Dang it. So they got 10 against my 6. That's no. Okay. Well, what's good about this is that I'm going to have the China card next turn, I guess. And I will. Oh, it's going to be real hard for me to get back into Iran. Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's UN intervene. Decolonization. Let's place influence. Take Pakistan. 2 more influence. We gotta start making our way over here. Oh, you know what? I'll put one there and I'll put one in the UK. Because it's gonna be, I'm not gonna be able to coup again in the Middle East until turn 2. And this is gonna take an amazing amount of points of influence to get. I hope they don't have the Middle East scoring. That could be worse. Could be worse than 6 points. Hey, alright. So, I get to remove all Soviet influence markers in one uncontrolled country in Europe. We'll go ahead and take them out of Finland. And they have that 1 point. I don't know what they're going to do with it. Now with containment, I can play one of these to the space race because they're worth, it's as though they were worth 1 more operation point. So they realigned me out of South Africa, which is nice of them. So let's go ahead and I'd rather use that over here where they can't fully benefit from the additional operation point if they use it all in Southeast Asia. So let's do Nasser. Let's space race Nasser. So if I get a 1, 2, or a 3, I get 2 points. Yay! I sent a satellite into orbit. Alright. So our next one we'll do Romanian abdication. And we'll use that point to go to Turkey. What? Okay. So, North Korea invaded South Korea. They subtract 1 for every U.S.-controlled country adjacent to South Korea. I controlled South Korea, but it doesn't count. So the Soviets had a victory on a 4 through 6, and they get 2 victory points and replace all the U.S. influence in South Korea. Golly. So they got 2 points, so now we're going to be tied. And they got South Korea. This is terrible. This might not make it to mid-war. Alright. Alright, we'll play this for the event. Let them get points in Romania. And then I will place influence. I want to put it in Japan. I only have 2. It's bad. It's bad, it's bad, it's bad. We'll use it to take South Korea. Partially, to take it away from them, but not to keep it for myself. Next turn I'll have the China card. And try to do something with that. Hey, alright. So I get to add sufficient U.S. influence in Yugoslavia, Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, or Czechoslovakia. I'm going to do Romania. Because it'll negate that. What did you do? Okay. So we'll play Vietnam Revolts. Let them go ahead and have their 2 points in Vietnam. And then I will place, I have 3 influence. I'll just take India. Might have to just let South Korea go for a bit. So we both made our military ops. We didn't lose any victory points. Containment goes away. Vietnam Revolts goes away. Let's see what horrible cards we get this time. That was a rough first round, first turn. Oh, jeepers creepers. Okay, so we have all 3 of the scoring cards, so we're in complete control of that. Yay! We have the Olympics. If I play the Olympics, I'm sponsoring them. We'll both roll a die. I get a modifier of +2. Whoever rolls the highest gets 2 victory points. If the Soviets boycott it, I would get to perform operations as though this was a 4 value card, and DEFCON would go down 1. That's interesting. Nuclear test ban is pretty cool. I would earn victory points equal to the current DEFCON -2 and then improved DEFCON 2 levels, but I really like it because of that. 5-year plan, the Soviets must randomly discard a card. If it's an American associated event, it occurs immediately. If it's a Soviet or applicable to both, it goes away. Socialist governments removes U.S. influence in Western Europe by a total of 3 points. Probably I'm going to be space racing that. Spoiler alert. Warsaw Pact removes all U.S. influence from 4 countries in Eastern Europe or adds 5 Soviet influence in Eastern Europe. So, yeah, that's not great either. Now, let's look and see what we have scoring-wise. Europe's a wash, Asia's a wash, Middle East is a mess. So, I kind of want to play Europe or Asia to get that out of the way. We're going to play Europe and hope that their event, that their headline event is for somewhere else. Let's see. Hey, that's all right. That's a weird choice. That's really weird. So, they lowered DEFCON 1 level, and then I get 5 minus 2 victory points. I get 3 victory points. They wanted to get that out before DEFCON had been lowered any further, I'm assuming. So that's fine. They didn't do anything in Europe, so Europe's going to be a wash. Great. And now they get to do something. This is bad. Ideally, they won't do anything in Asia, because the Middle East is going to hurt. It is really going to hurt. Dang it. Okay, well, let's do... If I use the China card, I'll have 5 influence points to spend in Asia. Let's go ahead and do it. We'll place influence. Then I have 3 more. I can't take South Korea back, but I can take North Korea away. Just do that. Even if they take North Korea back, I don't know why they wouldn't. You need that battleground. Ah, gross. It's a lot of influence. Stop messing with South Koreans. It's driving me bananaville. Okay. Yeah, dang it. Okay, we're gonna play this for influence. 379, 357. Yeah, Asia's worth more points, so I'm gonna spend some time doing that. Because that's okay. As long as neither of us has domination and we both have the same number of battleground countries, I'm okay with it. I can't play the Olympics. Good. Alright, that works. So, we'll play Asia scoring. Get it out of the way. It's a wash. I'm alright with that. Because I'm going to take a hit in the Middle East. I'll take a big hit in the Middle East. I have 3 more things I can do. This is going to have to be one. This is going to be one. And one of these 2. Well, hold on. I can just keep those 2. Because I can use this one. Well, Turkey is only adjacent to Syria. Why is it so hard to get into the Middle East? My God. Alright, we'll do one there. And then... we'll do one there. I need to at least get into Syria. Because if I can get into Syria... I need to take control of Syria and I'm not going to be able to. So, I can remove 1 Soviet influence from 3 countries in Eastern Europe. No more than... Nope, just 1. Do that, that, and that. They're going to lose some influence in Poland in mid-war, so I'm not too concerned about that. 3 points is a lot. Nah. Alright, let's see. We'll use this for points. I have 1 more point. We'll go there. Okay, so they get to choose India or Pakistan. They're going to subtract 1 for every opponent-controlled country. So they had to get a 5 or a 6 in order to succeed, which they did. Oh no, I haven't done any military ops. I'm going to lose so many points. Okay, well. Alright, we'll play this. And they get 7 points. Because they only have presence, they don't have domination, because they don't have any non-battleground countries. Because I took Syria away. But they also got 2 points because I forgot to do military ops. Yay! Alright, could be worse, could be worse. So, last turn of early war. We have DEFCON 3. I have these 2 dumb cards. We're going to be finishing out what was left of the deck. And then doing a little reshuffle. So we could... God, that's a lot of Soviet cards. We could get... we could get the scoring cards again. This is not looking good for me pretty much anywhere. So... that is a Soviet war. Alright, which ones haven't we looked at? Capture Nazi Scientist, one of my favorite cards. Your Space Race marker just to go up 1 box. I'm going to save that because the criteria we need to meet to move up is a 1 through 4. I have a better chance of getting that than I do a 1 through 3. So I'm going to Space Race a card. This is my plan. I'm going to space race a card, probably socialist governments. And then I'm going to man in space with capture Nazi scientist. And then ideally man in Earth orbit with Warsaw Pact. I kind of want to do that one last though, because I want to make sure, well, they must have it. They must have blockade. And blockade is a Soviet event where the Americans have to discard a card that's worth 3 or more. And I don't want to get rid of mine. So I will headline. I'll headline. Oh no, I don't want to headline that. Well, no. Headline that. Get it out. Yeah, it's gonna have to get out anyway. And it's only 1 point. Alright, so they get influence in Cuba. Congratulations, they're getting some influence in Egypt. Everything's coming up Soviet. Alright, let's see where they go. I do kind of want to devote, wanting to devote 3 of my 6 action rounds to the space race is kind of a risk score-wise. That would have been terrible if they'd got me out of Syria. But they didn't. They will never get me out of Syria. And actually, they didn't coup a battleground country. So it means I can coup a battleground country in the Middle East. But they're all pretty scary. Well. So Iraq's at a 7. Iran's at a 7. No, Iran's at 8. We're going to coup Iraq with NATO. And that'll give us our required military ops as well. So see how nice that looks? Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. Okay, well, that's fine. We got 4 military ops. We got a 6, which is twice the stability number, so that doesn't trigger. And DEFCON's at 2, so they can't try to coup me again in the Middle East. Golly. Golly, I say. Well, I will take this card. Because I'm not going to play this card. Since it makes the Soviets randomly discard a card, it could discard a card that would lower DEFCON, which would be horrible for me. Not as horrible as all that just was, though. Alright, well. That's terrible. If I lose because of the Middle East, I'm going to be so mad. Alright. We'll go here. Oh, am I not adjacent to Iraq? Son of a gun. Well, let's try to come back to Israel. Son of a gun. I can space race this then. Because remember, I want to use these 3 turns to space race. Oof. Well, I get control in Japan, which is fun. And they have 4 influence. Okay. Well, grand. Ideally, this doesn't keep happening to me. Ideally. Okay. I'm going to use this for influence just to take that away. Oh, bad, 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 bad. Alright, I get to remove 1 Soviet influence from 3 countries in Eastern Europe. I don't mind if I do. Don't mind if I do. I'm going to put it right back in Israel, and there's not going to be anything that I can do about it. Yeah. It's a losing battle. Alright, well, let's go ahead and space race this. Good. Alright. Good. So now I can play another space race card, and I'm going to play Nazi Scientist. If they score that now, though, the game's over. I'm hoping they don't have Middle East scoring. Asia scoring. Not as bad. I mean, that's a lot of points. Ugh. Alright, let's play this for the event. That'll get us 2 points. And it helps that a little bit. If they have Middle East scoring, we're toast. Toast, I say. No. Wait. Wait a second. Because I can conduct operations as if I played a one-up card. But that means I can win with nuclear war. Why would they let me do that? Because they don't. They do. They have this. Yeah, of course. I don't care. Well, all right. So that's that. It looked like the AI had Marshall Plan and Blockade. I don't know why they wouldn't have played Blockade instead of that. If they had just held over, I mean, they had a lot of points. That very easily could have gone the other way. I don't know. I don't know. Well, that's how you win the game with a DEFCON victory. Okay, well, one day I will get in a video. I will get to mid-war. Mark my words, one day. All right, I hope this was useful. I hope you could feel the stress of being the American player. It was pretty rough. I am so glad they didn't have the Middle East scoring card. That was terrible. Getting kicked out of Israel right off the bat and losing Iran. Bad news. Bad news across the board. But luckily, the AI made a weird decision. So that's something. Okay, well, I will try again as the Americans and try to get to mid-war. All right, have a good day.